Boundaries, whether they are around our home or our lives, are meant to protect us. They are clearly set lines that we don't expect anyone to cross without our permission. They allow only those things in that we are comfortable with, whether it's about allowing people in or extending our own compassion and tolerance beyond a certain point. Now, it's not at all about changing how others think, speak, or behave, but about our own choices and decisions. When we set healthy personal boundaries, they uncomplicate our life to a great degree by letting others know clearly how we expect to be treated and what kind of response they can expect from us, because no one likes to be in an unpredictable situation without an instructions manual. No one likes to be around people where they feel they have to guess their way around and never be sure what kind of response to expect from them. So when we set clear personal boundaries, it helps us value our own opinions without being bullied into doubting our own choices. It stops us from compromising our values for someone else, and it allows us the clarity to say yes or no with full conviction and to take no for an answer with the same level of maturity. So now the question is, how to set healthy boundaries that would allow us the space to make decisions without being manipulated, because that's something which removes a lot of unnecessary complexities from our life. Let me show you how. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nandita, and this channel is for you if you want to uncomplicate and take back control of your life one step at a time. Please feel free to jump in the comments below with your questions or your own views on this topic, and we will turn this into a conversation. Alright, let's begin. The very first thing to do is understand that boundaries look different for every person. But one thing that's common for every one of them is they are meant to set clear ground rules and the reaction in case these lines are crossed. Their aim is never to change someone else, because trying to change or manipulate others to fall in line with our preferences would simply be diabolical when we are trying to stop them from doing that very same thing with us. We don't say, "This is how I expect you to behave." Instead, we say clearly, "This is what I'm willing to do or accept, and if you don't respect that, then I'm going to walk away or leave the conversation," or whatever feels right to you for that situation. Healthy boundaries are all about making those choices and lines clear which you don't expect to be crossed, and also what would be your decision if that happens. It's totally up to the other person which option they decide to choose. Now the next step is to find out which areas in your life you think would do better with a bit more structure, like you want to set up ground rules about sharing or borrowing your possessions, or making decisions in certain areas of your life, or the kind of comments you're ready to accept. Get clear about what's important to you, what things go against your values, which situations usually make you feel you are always doing things everyone else wants and never what you want. That's the place to start. Choose the one making you feel resentful or angry the most. Find out what would make you feel more in control in these situations. What would be acceptable to you? Those are your boundaries, but the key is to start small. Let's take an example which, if you have lived long enough, will connect with you. There are people who know we value them for some reason or other, and they take it as a go sign to start making decisions for us or making hurtful comments, justifying it as tough love. So this is a place where boundaries would do us good. But remember, the key is to start small. Let them know they are crossing a line when talking of you in a disrespectful way, like, "I don't find comments like that funny, and if you keep making them in the future, then I'm going to take them seriously." That shows the other person they are crossing a line, and so need to be more aware of how they approach things about you in other situations too. Okay, so we come to one of the most important steps, voicing your boundaries, clearly communicating them to others, because otherwise it simply remains wishful thinking. "I wish they would stop taking me for granted," or "I wish they would stop talking like that to me." Until and unless we clearly let others know what's acceptable to us, they are naturally going to go with the option that works best for them. So after deciding on your boundary, let it known to others. I know it's easier said than done because of the fear of conflict, of pushing people away, and of coming across as selfish. But if you are really convinced about the importance of that boundary in your life, It will give you the initial push needed to rush past those barriers and voice your decisions. Now, if things start getting uncomfortable or people start getting pushy about it, you always have the option to remove yourself from that environment or leave that conversation. Now, that's really a quick fix and not really a very effective way of handling situations, but it will tide you over till you are able to see the situation in the right perspective. The clear understanding that what other people say, think, do, their actions and the result of their actions are beyond your control and so not your responsibility. What, however, are your own behavior, your effort, and the result of your choices. This way of looking at things make handling stressful and awkward situations much easier because you can see things for what they really are and so decide which ones truly deserve your consideration. But if you haven't reached there yet, being convinced of the importance of that particular boundary in your life will carry you through. By the way, if you're finding this helpful, like this video to keep it handy for ready reference and also to make it easier to reach other people who might find it useful. Appreciate that. Now, all this effort you put in finding the areas that need urgent attention, figuring out the best approach, and stepping out of your comfort zone to voice them would all be short-lived if you don't follow through. For example, if you decide not to play along with commitments made on your behalf without letting you know first, you need to be consistent about that. It's a tough boundary to create because of the potential of all the conflict when you stick to your decision for the first few times. But if you're not consistent about following it through, sticking to not showing up for commitments you weren't consulted on, and you go, okay, only this once, it shows the other person that you aren't that sold on your own decisions. Your boundaries are open for negotiation, and so it's okay for them too to keep ignoring these ground rules. And all the work you put into creating that protected space for yourself goes totally waste. It may be because you are a compassionate person that it feels really tough to stick to your decision when the other person is making such a strong case for their need. It might feel selfish, or they might make you feel like a nag for bringing up the question of appropriate boundaries again and again, and so you let it be an exception. But before doing so, be very clear whether it's your compassion making you take this situation as an exception, or is it at a deeper level you are trying to please them, because it's really easy to fall into that trap if you are a compassionate person at heart. Now, if you feel your empathy, your good-heartedness, your compassion is at some level making other people take advantage of you, then watch this video over here to know the danger signs and how to handle them effectively. You take care, and I will see you soon.